Okay, so in this episode, I want to focus solely on one of the biggest problems you will probably run into as you play the game. Making cash. It's not the easiest thing to do, but there are a couple tricks to really maximize how much cash you can get. And to start, we're going to run down here to the rookie village. In case you missed something talking to Wolf or Petrua, that is true of every stalker that does not want to shoot you in the face. You can walk up, you can talk to them, and you can trade. Now you'll notice some things are redded out, which means they will not buy that under any circumstance. And these guys have a limited amount of money. They have 500 rubles total. Which means if you go over that, it will just send a message, and I'm going to sell you. I'm going to attempt to do that. It replaces the description with the NPC does not have enough money. Now, next thing is down in Sidorovic's bunker. Now, Sidorovich here, you'll notice in place of money, he just has these 3 dashes. That means he has infinite money. You can sell him any number of things that you can possibly think of. And the reason I say that money is probably going to be one of your biggest concerns is, say I were to sell him both these artifacts. It's a whole 1,300 rubles. To get the same suit that I'm wearing, which I could sell for a measly 4,000, we'll round up, it's 24,000. That's still more than I have if I sold him a bunch of other stuff as well. Now, what I'm actually going to do, just because I don't care and he can take his Snyder marks and shove off, because I'm just going to hit leave.
What the heck are you?
Jobs. If someone ever has, I need a job, do you have something for me? They will have at least one job, maybe more. Some of these are infinitely easier than others. For example, with this one, I would actually say the most difficult right out the gate is finding a meat chunk. Which, if you go looking for an artifact called Chunk of Meat, you will never find it. It is called Meat Chunk in the game. The only place I have ever seen them refer to something by something other than their actual name is in these menus. But these are usually fairly straightforward ways of making quick cash. And for the artifact missions, you can have a stockpile of artifacts and just walk up and say, hey, which one do you want? And if they have a mission for it, you can just hit, I'll take the job. Like, if I had Chunk of Meat, I could just say, I'm up for it. It would automatically update twice. Once for taking the job, and once because I can bring him the artifact in question. And I'm going to click some other time. If it says, I'm here for the job, that means there's one you can cash in on. You'll be able to cash in on the job. It will cash in all the jobs you can cash in on at once. So it's possible to go for someone like Sidorovich or some of the later quest givers. You get 4 or 5 quests, potentially some that just happened on their own, and cash in 4 quests at a time, and you have this list of payments that stretches the entire way down this screen. It's entirely possible. Another note with these find the artifact missions is they usually pay more than the artifact is worth, but not always directly. Sometimes you will get paid in something like vodka or ammunition, which directly isn't more than the artifact is worth, but for some of the artifacts, it's actually better for you in the long run. Like, if he had a mission for droplets or thorn, sorry, I'm so used to having urchin. For thorn here, I would probably just cash it in at the drop of a hat because these are garbage artifacts compared to the stuff you can find later. The thing I would caution you about is there are some artifacts there's maybe 1 or 2 of available. Mutant body parts are a nice way to make constant money if you can find someone that will buy them. There are frequently orders for not dog tails. Sidrovich has one that says pseudo dog tail. That is not a normal dog tail. Those are actually much harder to see on the inventory screen because they're dark brown. But there's frequently orders for boar's hooves, flesh eyes, and you'll discover what a flesh is later on your own. They're disgusting monstrosities. And that is the long and short of the jobs. I'm going to exit Sidrovich's bunker now and show you guys one of the other handy things by going to a place that hopefully you have cleared, but again, I'm not making that assumption. We are going to the car park.
Good hunting, Stalker.
As I was saying, we're going to the car park, where the mission for Nimble takes place. And hopefully you've cleared the area, but it's entirely possible you have not. And we're going to use this to showcase one of the interesting ways you can make money, especially bearing in mind the fact everyone can trade. Alright, welcome back to the car park. Hopefully you've cleared the place with Petrua's help, but if not, the information will still be valuable. And that's that, assuming these guys have something on them still, or something lying around, weapons don't despawn. I think I actually snatched and sold all the weapons that these guys had. But weapons sell for pretty constant cash. And seeing as some of your biggest enemies are going to be people, it's a safe assumption that they're going to be shooting you with guns. So if you have a scrap, like over here in the car park, you can run around, like I have apparently done, and pick up all the guns you can carry. Oh, there's got to be one around here somewhere. Anything? Just one, please? No? Okay. But you pick up all the guns you can carry, and wander off to find the nearest person. It doesn't even have to be a trader. You just wander off to the nearest person. I don't know if I did nearest person or if I went all the way back to Sidrovich, but he's not in a talkative mood right now anyway. There's probably something nearby. But you can basically do zone cleanup. Hey, Petrua, did I sell you a bunch of stuff? No. But if they will buy guns, you just find the first person that will buy a gun from you and sell it to them. And you just do that the whole trip back. I don't think he's going to talk to me at all. Oh, he won't. He's not freaking out too much. None of these guys will buy guns, but most of the merchants will. So you can take, at least in Shadow of Chernobyl, you can take highly damaged guns, some that are borderline unusable, and lug them back to the nearest trader. be it Sidorovich or someone else. If it's Sidorovich, then it's Sidorovich. If it's not Sidorovich, there's probably someone in the area. I don't want to say for a fact they're going to be in the area because that changes from game to game. Not every area will have a trader. Every, we'll say, remotely safe area has a trader. If you ever are forced to put your weapon away, then there's a trader nearby. And it's a safe bet that you can sell them weapons. And I'm desperately hoping that something around here will have a weapon on the ground that I can sell, but it appears that I've combed the place pretty clean. And before those dogs decide I look tasty, the final word of advice that I have is really be careful which jobs you take. I would caution against taking a lot of the hit style jobs because there is a domino effect. It's entirely possible that you go off, and even though normally, if we just check this guy, most of the people who you get sent to take out will have a terrible reputation, which is on par with bandits and other people that will shoot you on sight. But that doesn't mean they don't have friends. And it can make your life very, very difficult if you go and take one of these hit jobs and it turns out that they had a friend. Because if it turns out they had a friend, there's probably going to be a domino effect where in a lot of areas there's probably going to be someone extra that wants to kill you. And if you're struggling in those areas, it can be an absolute nightmare. If you're not struggling, it's a nuisance at best. It's a waste of ammunition, it's a waste of healing items. And unless you're sitting on a small pile of them, you don't want to waste those if you don't have to. As a matter of fact, I'd say don't waste them if you don't have to anyway. There's no point to wasting them. You take damage, your weapon loses durability, and all in all, it's just not good for you. That's all I have for this one. Hopefully be able to flip over some old weapons or artifacts that there are much better versions of later. Which, if you're not sure if there's a much better version of later, you can just hold on to one and not cash in. The final, for real final this time, note is a lot of jobs have a time limit. None of the story ones have a time limit, but most of the random jobs you can get from Sidorovich, from the other traders, from faction leaders, have a time limit of 3 in-game days. Some mods remove it, some mods shorten it. For a vanilla playthrough, you have 3 days. If you don't find it, it automatically fails, or if you don't complete it and cash in, it automatically fails. Some quests will cash in automatically, some will not. It is just a safe bet to assume that you have to go back and say, I'm here for the job. I think that covers absolutely everything that I had that does not spoil a bunch of things. But artifacts are low-grade artifacts. Let's see if I have any in the encyclopedia. Yeah, jellyfish. Stone flower, possibly, but definitely jellyfish. stone blood, urchin droplets. Those are going to be how you make your cash really quickly if you don't have a small stockpile of recently used weapons that their former owners don't need anymore. Either because you killed them, or because something else killed them, or because it went flying out of an anomaly. But one way or another, hopefully that will put a little extra cash in your pocket and get you buying better weapons. Because better weapons and better armor are what's going to keep you alive longer than most advice I can give you. Hope to see you guys next time.